whatever. They're good, they're bad, they're athletic, they're skilled up front. That's without a doubt what you expect out of those guys up front. From there, though, you just gotta prepare all week. So you can't really. Last week was kind of it was crappy weather. That's not an excuse, but you have to execute up front, and that's what we did. We got the W.
How do you think you played last week?
Not the best. Not the best, but we won the game. There was a lot of key things that happened that the offensive line did very well, and that's where you just got to be appreciative with the win. You can't be perfect on every play. So that's what with Michigan State's defense and how very athletic and the blitzes and all the things that they throw at you. Again, you do pretty well. You handle all that kind of stuff. So,
Billy, you guys had a lot of success running against them last year. What is it that has allowed you guys to have that sort of success in this series recently?
Again, preparation. Preparation is a big thing. This week, if you understand and you can pick up things after watching film study and all week, and hey, they do this on this type of such situation, then those little wrinkles is what separates. What makes that better for the game itself. Especially when it comes to being able to run the ball up front. It's a very, 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 very physical game up front. And if these past 2 weeks, Michigan State and then the team up north, if you don't win up front, then you're not going to win the game. So,
Billy, this is only the 11th time both teams are ranked in the top 5 in the whole history of the rivalry.
Right.
And despite all the preparation this week, do you have an appreciation for how good both teams are at the same time?
The history behind both storied programs, it's pretty incredible. The people that have come out of there, I got interviewed after, and they asked, what was if you had to put a word to Harbaugh, what would it be? And I said iconic. You have to respect that. The history that's behind both storied programs. The 10-year war and everything else. Because we're very well educated on. I'd like to say that we're pretty well educated on the history of the rivalry itself, and the characters that have been in both types of both programs itself. It's huge. It's huge, and every single year you make part of that history. You change that history. Win loss, who does what players are playing. And that's so every year is a huge statement game for us. So.
Is that part of the reason that you wanted to come here to play in a game like this?
Yeah, absolutely. When you come to Ohio State, when you think of Ohio State and the storied programs, you play in big time games, big time atmospheres. We've had a couple of those this year, and that's it's just part of playing where you're at.
Is it different?
There's so many big rivalries across the nation.
But
this one stands above everybody. Why does this one stand above all other games?
This is the best rivalry in all sport. As Coach Meyer always says in the video that everybody sees, it is the. I guess we're biased because we're in it. It's the toughest, most physical rivalry that I've ever seen played. Alabama LSU is probably second in my opinion, but that's getting biased to it. It's extremely physical and tough, and again, both blue collar people, and that's what happens.
How much is being from? You're an Ohio guy. You grew up in this. But half your scholarship players are from Ohio. More than half your starters are from Ohio. Are you teaching guys about this? Does it matter as much to them as it matters to someone like you?
Well, I think that they get that in recruiting, and they understand. With everything on the other side of the Woody Hayes, there's walls, there's pictures, there's a lot of history and tradition with that. So I think that they kind of are recruited into it, I like to say, because again, if you're not from Ohio, you really don't understand it. You don't understand the significance of it, the respect for the rivalry itself. And so those are situations where you have to educate and teach, like Mike Weber, Mike Weber's from that state up north. He went in last week, again, very tough, almost a homecoming game for him since he's going back home. Same thing with Michael Jordan. Again, he understands the significance of it. And I know Mike Jordan was actually born in Ohio, but he played ball up there. So in a case like that, it's, again, they understand it, they respect it, and they understand the intensity of it.
You're talking about two programs that are increasingly recruiting nationally, though. So, 3 years from now, there can be very few Ohio players on any side of this game. Do you think that would change it at all?
No, not at all. Because again, if you're representing Ohio, then you understand what's at stake. You understand what's at stake, and again, we do a great job of educating and understanding, hey, why this is as significant as it is. And again, you become part of that, and it becomes part of your blood as you're here, and especially as you're playing here. We're gonna go into more.
For a while, Ohio State owned this rivalry. Do you almost like it more when it's kind of a bloodbath scenario for the winner, kind of?
Yeah, as a title showdown, as the media, I know you guys love this, the 2-3 aspect, but again, what really happens on that field, and what happens, especially playing offensive line, what happens in those front seven against our front seven, that's what defines the game. You know, they've got great players, we've got great players on the outside, but again, if you don't win up front, the game, it doesn't matter what happens on the outside, because if you can't run the ball, stop the ball, you know, for both sides of the thing, it's just the game's won.
Billy, when you watch film from the game last year and what you've seen so far, does that look like a different team to you? And can a team become more talented because of a year of extra experience?
To be honest with you, I haven't touched it yet. Enjoying the win that we had, you know, just 2 days ago. There's a certain aspect of, again, when we talked about, you don't take things for granted. You don't take a win for granted. So this is a huge, significant week for us. But again, you have to enjoy that win. Today part of my process is, be able to come in, relax, get a massage, and then let's go evaluate what's going on now. So I come and talk to you guys for an hour or whatever it is, and then I go and take care of that. So I haven't watched any film yet. I talked to Jamarco, and he said, they do a couple wrinkles here and there. So I'm probably not a good person to evaluate whether or not they've been a better team. Maybe Pat would, probably, for that one.
Billy, a couple guys and players have talked about the first time they saw Curtis do something, whether it was a spring practice or some sort of feat of athleticism. Is there anything in your mind that stands out that the first time you saw him, the most incredible thing you've seen him do?
Kurt's a freak. There's you're not gonna catch that man. I'll tell you that. I used to see him go off on kickoff. I think it was kickoff or punts. This stuff you see in practice, and stuff that you guys don't get to see is pretty incredible. So, and it's not just him. There's the people. What happens in this room in this practice facility? It's waiting to be seen.
Are you talking about special teams like when he was a freshman, or still like
everything? Because I've seen him doing punt returns. He's now doing punt returns. I've seen him do kickoff returns. I've seen him literally do just about everything here. So he is very, very well rounded. There's not one particular thing too much, just because of the fact that when we're blocking somebody, I don't get to see him juke and spin, do all that stuff. I just get to go catch him in the end zone. So.
So you